part about The Quiet Place is the part where you're quiet. So why did everyone in my movie theater decide to be as loud as they possibly could? What is up, Flick fans, and welcome back to my channel, a movie that I am so excited to talk about, A Quiet Place is in theaters, and I just saw it. In honor of A Quiet Place, I did my top 10 modern horror films list. That was yesterday, you can check that out, but right now we are talking about the brand new John Krasinski directed flick. I love this guy. I can't wait to talk about this film. It's one I've been very much looking forward to. If you guys don't know how my reviews work, I like to talk about the good, the bad, and then give you my score. Let's talk about A Quiet Place. I think that's the biggest thing going into this film. It's an extremely quiet movie. I mean, my goodness, it's in the title, and if you saw the trailer, you kind of know what you're in for. So why did everybody going into this movie have to get a bunch of popcorn and candy and crunch as loud as they could? There were 3 phones that went off. You can ask Madison. There were 3 phones during this film. A Quiet Place. Okay, rant over, but the only reason I'm ranting this hard is because I was just 100% engrossed in the concept of this film. But there's a difference between concept and execution. John Krasinski's done it before. He's directed 2 films prior to this. I haven't seen a 1, and that's kind of bad because I am a huge John Krasinski fan, but the guy really brought something to the table. This is a film that in 5-10 years, there are going to be more movies that come along, and people are going to say, wow, that film is a lot like Quiet Place. It took a lot of elements from that. And I think that's one of the biggest compliments I can give the movie. If you guys haven't figured it out yet, I absolutely loved this film. And I kind of expected to really like it. I just didn't expect to have this kind of reaction. I was engrossed, like I said, the entire movie. The amount of tension that is built just from the first scene alone is great. I'm not going to spoil a thing, but oh my goodness, if you guys have seen the movie, was that first scene just not fantastic? And this film is literally the family and the creatures. That's it. Not a lot of actors in here, which is good because there's not a lot of bad acting to bog the film down, but it's also bad to ask a handful of actors to carry a movie. But guess what? They do it here because every single person in this film does a wonderful job. And here's my favorite part about the movie. You don't know the backstory. You don't know how it happened, why it happened. The movie picks up on a certain day, a long time after this event started. And I love that because the fact that we get nothing gives us everything we want as a viewer, and it makes A Quiet Place a very special horror film. Something I want to talk about real quick, the sound design in this movie was just, oh my goodness, it was so good. The way that the creatures sound, the way that they come across, and I think the best part of it is you have this silence all throughout the movie, and then all of a sudden, boom, something happens. I mean, every now and then the music will kick in, and I really enjoyed the score of this film. It's nothing in your face, drastic, or dramatic, but it really is a nice, subtle score, and it adds a lot to the moments where you're getting a little sick and tired of how quiet it is, but once again, that works really well for the movie. But the scenes that were just completely silent were probably my favorite. They do something real creative with the little girl here because in the movie, she is deaf. That's not a spoiler, because when you cut to her point of view, you hear absolutely nothing, but when you cut to someone else's point of view, or just an establishing shot, you hear the slight ambient noise in the background, or the rustling of the trees, the wind, but you do not hear that when the camera is on her. I thought that was such a great directing choice by John Krasinski. I keep saying his name because it's very important to keep in mind how impressive this was. I said this about Ready Player One last week. I love when a movie does something completely different. This is different, but it has to capitalize on the fact that it is different. I think A Quiet Place does that. I don't want to go into a lot of detail about the movie because there are some twists and turns that I did not expect throughout the film. I just want to tell you guys that this is a great theater experience. There's some great things that I want to hit upon, but I really want you guys to kind of go in blind like I did. There are some problems with this film, though. Problems that are outweighed by the experience that I had in the theater, but I still have to talk about it. Y'all know those horror cliches. Now, you don't have people that are completely ignorant, but there are some mistakes made here where I'm like, that could have been avoided. And then you have the typical setup now for something bad to happen later, the blood-splattered hands slapping on the glass. We have seen those things before, but they were used creatively, so I can give it a pass there. The ending is going to be something that leaves people like, okay, you didn't have to end it like that. It's a little cheesy, but you know what? When whatever happens, happens, I had a big smile on my face, and I'm like, that's right. Great moments, great building of tension, not too much horror, but when it's in there, it's great. A fantastic thriller. I haven't even talked about my boy from Wonder, the young kid in here. I love every time I see him, even in the movie The Titan, a movie that I didn't like, but I thought he did a wonderful job. I love this kid. I love this entire cast. They were all absolutely wonderful. I could talk about them for days. I could talk about this movie for days, but I just don't want to go into any more detail. I want you guys to go in blind. Even the trailers kind of spoiled some things here where I was like, okay, you didn't have to give that reveal. I'm going to give A Quiet Place a 93%. This might be my favorite movie of the year so far. The way that it was conceived is so creative. I can't wait to hear your guys' comments, thoughts. Be sure to leave them below. Like this video if you enjoyed this content. Before I get to a very special comment spotlight, I want to talk about a website that I'm collaborating with right now, and that is MovieBabbleReviews.com. Guys, if you haven't been to this website and you love movie reviews and articles and top 10s and countdowns, it has everything. I love this website. Every now and then when you click on an article, you will see my review, MovieBabbleReviews.com. Be sure to check it out. It's an awesome website. And today's comment spotlight comes in from Ryan O'Toole. First of all, if you haven't been to Ryan's YouTube channel, he is absolutely awesome. He's an avid movie lover. I loved his comment on my Ready Player One review. Thank you, Ryan, for your comment, and thank you, everybody, for supporting my videos. You guys are the absolute best, and I will catch you tomorrow with potentially 3 movie reviews. I need to get some sleep.